Hello everyone, and as promised, X-Men Origins Wolverine got a video game done by Raven Software, a team that unfortunately these days is stuck doing most Call of Duty games, but to which I still have a lot of respect because they also developed a title the year after that I record in the future called Singularity, which is really fun. And this is X-Men Origins Wolverine, like I said, specifically the Uncaged edition for PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. What's the major difference with the SD versions like PS2, Nintendo DS, or Wii or PSP? They added something particular that Marvel games could not have at the moment, and not even the movie could have it. An 18 PEGI rating, or a M1 for America. What does that mean? Blood and gore everywhere. And it's, believe me, it's fun as a result of it.
So basically, this was what you're saying.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Yeah.
This is Logan before the movie, albeit it's still saddled with the crap plot from the movie.
Yes, it is
Well,
based still on the
sort
movie.
of.
Anyway, a quick rundown. There are other moments to talk about in this game, but also, yeah, Activision was the publisher. But here's a cool thing. Most of the actors of the movie reprise the lore here. First and foremost, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I'm happy to announce that unlike in a lot of cases, like say the Iron Man video game, Hugh Jackman is really good at voicing Wolverine in a video game.
In the not too distant future.
I wouldn't mind if Hugh Jackman started doing voice acting in general as a whole.
It could be a way for him to continue the role of Wolverine.
Yeah, as you can imagine, this CGI cutscene was only for the Uncaged edition.
Maybe they'll. Hey,
Like, believe me, it's actually one of the goriest Marvel game. The first one would be one of the Punisher titles.
Maybe it'll be part of that new Disney Plus show where it has like the If Marvel series.
Who knows?
Could be.
But anyway, we will know more where Logan is right now and who are the soldiers at the very tail end of the game. Here is just basically one of those CG cutscenes that showcase what the game is capable of.
So already, this completely craps on the movie. This scene alone.
I mean, mind you, because of the gore, this game is extremely edgy, believe me on that. But there's sort of a charm to it, unlike in Prince of Persia Warrior Within.
It's what you expect from the Wolverine franchise. I mean, that's not to say that he needs gore to be entertaining.
This is something that the fans of Wolverine wanted for a long time, actually.
Yeah, we sort of got that with hints of it in The Wolverine, the movie. Yes, The Wolverine, that's the good Wolverine movie before the amazing Wolverine movie.
Yeah, well, fortunately that movie has a different title, so yeah. Logan.
I don't remember other names.
Hey, Hugh. God, you know, I love that tone in his voice, but I can't help but wonder if that tone in his voice suggests that he knew what a crap show the movie was gonna be. Because, yeah, if I recall correctly, this was being done alongside the movie.
No, don't worry, Liz.
If I recall correctly, this was being done alongside the movie.
I think so, but I honestly guess that Raven Software had a bit more time to develop this one. Because it's actually much more polished. Anyway, flashback time.
Here we go.
Here's the thing. Remember that initial sequence where Logan gets tangled in that African mission? You know?
It's still here.
Yeah, it is. Remember the fact that it was done by night? I think like a dozen guards died by the hand of Wade and maybe a bit Logan. And then there was the village sequence.
What?
Yeah, now instead, it's in bright day, and due to an accident to the chopper, Wolverine and the others will have to sabotage some towers and then reconvey to get to the village. Problem is, in doing so, Wolverine will have to traverse the entire jungle and practically slaughter half of the African continent in the process.
Trying
You
to
know
make
what? Not just that,
boy.
these supposed mercenaries that you're fighting, well, whatever, I'll say later after this fight because it's time to check the controls. Straight combo with 4, heavy attacks with triangle, you can leap on enemies, like L2 to block, you can dodge also with L2 and R2. There are these slow-mo effect after you clear each round. But the biggest question that I'm thinking is, due to the regenerating factor, the healing factor of Wolverine, oh yeah, also you can grab and impale enemies like that. Due to the healing factor, how can you make a game like this balanced? Easy. While Wolverine regenerates over time, if he still sustains too much damage, his heart, the heart icon that you see on the top left, will be in danger, and if that gets damaged too much, Wolverine will pretty much be KO'd, which will count as a game over of sorts.
Makes sense. He may be
Honestly,
immortal,
it's pretty
but
balanced
he can die.
if you ask me. It's not leaning on either
that sounds
side.
like a bit of a contradiction, though, Joe. He's immortal, but he can die.
Okay, he's
Well,
more
not in
so
a sense, but he can-
quasi-immortal.
Not just that. It's more of also a case with if he gets captured, it's like if he gets KO'd, the enemy captures him and the mission gets fucked up.
It's almost as silly as the line from the movie. We're gonna make you invincible, but first we're gonna have to destroy you.
But anyway, let me just say this. So yeah, we have this jungle environment with these mercenaries who by themselves are not even malicious. Logan is supposedly killing them because they're in his way or something. Hold on. And along the way, he will have to solve some puzzles. Does that sound familiar?
Resident Evil 4.
No, we have yet another game that is trying to ride on the tail end of Uncharted.
Oh, Uncharted, that too. Oh god, that's right. I keep forgetting that
Also,
this was released
you
in
have
the
some
Uncharted
collectibles like the dog tags. Those serve no purpose other to give you experience points, which you may notice that Wolverine has a level that you can level up. Hold on, here's the leap. The launch, sorry, look at that. You point at enemy and whoop! You can also do some combos with it. But anyway, what I was saying is the dog tags will give you extra experience and will count as collectibles for trophy set. So there is still a purpose because you want to, be maximized enough in the game to get skill points for building up your combos and stuff like that, and also to gain more health potentially.
You know, when you said puzzle game earlier, I was gonna answer. What the hell happened to Professor Layton's life?
No, the puzzles are much more simple, exactly as I mentioned, more Tomb Raider and Uncharted-like. You will see contraptions with a lever, you will let to move them and do some platforming to get on the other side.
For 200 Picarats, use your adamantium claws.
To slaughter these people.
How many people can you kill using your adamantium?
Now
Mind
that I
you,
think
for now,
about
this
it,
part of the mind you, this part of the African flashback is used for tutorial purposes. But let me spoil you right away. The game will stop after a while and come back to the proper plot of the movie, but will occasionally come back to the African sequences to establish a sort of a narrative as Wolverine is recollecting some memories of it. So you will have interest proves through the game. You will have a lot of these sections where Wolverine is treading through the jungle, solving puzzles, and mercilessly slaughtering all those African mercenaries.
Well,
Mind
to
you,
be fair, they're
this
firing
is yes, there is, but you can argue that in this kind of case, remember, this is the part of the movie supposedly where Wolverine puts his foot down and says, "No, I don't kill. Killing people is barbaric."
maybe it's
Stuff like
because
Is
there's...
that bit still in this game?
Yes, once we actually get to the village part.
Okay, folks, as you can imagine,
Let's just say that the hypocrisy of Wolverine trying to behave like a hero is much more accentuated in this game as a result.
Wow,
That's the
so
thing.
So wait, this game does something worse than Skip Woods?
well, in
Technically
addition to
speaking, yes,
doing a lot of
the
stuff
problem-
better, too, it's such
The thing, that's the thing. It's a sort of not paradox, but a oxymoron. I think it can be also some purple
Right.
blood. Some things were still censored, mind you. But regardless, it's a sort of paradox of Timon where Wolverine tries to be this heroic figure, trying to say, "Oh no, I'm better than this." While through the entire game, it's basically a God of War clone, where you slaughter people, also solve puzzles like that. With extreme violence and prejudice like that. So Wolverine trying to behave, this clashes horribly. Also, to spice things up, there are some mutants in the African forces, like this one that it can catch on fire and has much more health.
Hey, where is that African mutant who can control the weather? She's kind of missing out on the action.
Storm
She's
is
not
gonna-
around at this point in the time.
She's supposed to be a child around this time.
Oh
But
yeah,
here's the
that's
thing,
right.
Here's the thing, Reeves. Some of the mutants will actually get mentioned here as 4v9s, which gives an excuse to talk about the type of adaptation that this game is. Honest, with so much time that I spent on licensed games, I pretty much come to the conclusion of dividing into three major categories: Type A, Type B, Type C. Type A is a straightforward adaptations where the game is very faithful to the movie or whatever it's based on, with very little changes to it. And even if their presence, they're not that impactful. Type B instead is something like this game, something where while the plot of the movie is generally followed, there are a lot of changes, like say something added here, like a big portion, extra portion added here, or a boss fight also there, something that alters the plot in some kind of way, not completely significantly, but it does. Type C instead is where the game basically almost completely ignores the movie or the product it's based off and tries to act as a prequel or a sequel to it. So you still need to have seen the movie before playing the game, but instead is offering something else. Stuff
Am I gonna get to say it? Prepare to meet Kali. in
Pretty much.
hell.
You can fight these enemies, but the game pretty much suggests you to leap on the other side, and you will see exactly what's happening. Especially because none of them is actually cutting the rope right now. Here we go.
Whoop.
This part is actually a bit scripted, and you can see that. There
Well,
we
I'll
go.
admit it does look pretty cool.
Performance-wise, the game is mostly solid in 30 FPS. It has some major dipping moments here and there, but tries to stay consistent for the most part. So I applaud to that. Yeah.
I'm just picturing now in the recording booth how loud the
Hugh Jackman had to
decibels.
sound.
Yeah, how loud the decibels were reading out whenever Hugh Jackman had to do the growling for the game.
Surprising enough, most of the growling here is more tame compared to the one of the movie. You know that one scene where Wolverine wakes up with the Elemental skull
Yeah.
and he locks the door? Surprising enough, the scene equivalent in this game is more tame. But you will hear more when we
But
get.
don't you see, guys, Hugh Jackman is such an upstanding person. He didn't want to deafen the audience.
Oh, what's that?
Oh boy.
I'm sure it was nothing. Also, get used to see Wolverine shirtless for most of the game because due to the damage that he can take, his clothes will start ripping off. So which I'm fine with that. There are a lot of times where female character, also Wolverine, you're destroying your hand with this.
Yeah, it's like, shouldn't you be? Well, okay, I guess to be fair, the claws will
No,
probably.
they do
suck
regenerate. They do regenerate,
Besides-
but still, come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say his skin will grow back.
Like, just because you have that's the thing, the game will also emphasize that. Just because he has an immune factor doesn't mean that Wolverine is immune to pain.
Tell me about it. I mean, heck, him having pain was actually one of the plot points of Days of Future Past, as well as. Well, yeah,
Also,
well, yeah.
the Wolverine.
Yeah, heck, even X-Men Origins Wolverine was all about him having
I mean, hell,
pain
Logan-
during the whole bonding process with the
It was at
adamantium.
it was at its utmost in Logan.
Hmm.
Imagine at that point his healing factor was really starting to fail.
That's something that the movie pulls out probably because the director, being the same old Wolverine, kind of liked that idea. Because, but even in the story, hold on.
Unlike the Wolverine, he actually co-wrote Logan.
You're
Mhm.
saying to you?
In the story that it's based on, Old Man Logan, Wolverine still has his healing factor in full force. And spoilers, that's why the ending of Old Man Logan is much different from the one of the movie.
Interesting.
Whee!
Sup,
Slaughter.
You're not Canadian enough, Joe.
And as you can see, also he has his bone claws here because being the sequence before
Well,
the implants.
it's only meant to be not being Canadian, Grizz, because Wolverine's accent does tend to change
Yeah,
from different
every time you
versions.
level up, also Wolverine does that.
Because he's an Australian trying to be a Canadian.
And then there's the times
Also-
when he's voiced by Steve Blum, in which
Yeah.
case,
Oh,
yeah.
here's the thing, interesting thing, Java. Steve Blum actually is in this game. You will never guess who voices.
Oh
Is he-
god, does
is he
he
voice-
voice Deadpool?
Well, yeah, right. Wade. Although here's the thing, Java. He has like 1 or 2 lines in total.
So Deadpool voiced by Steve Blum, but only for 1 or 2 lines.
Well, I say it's not that much different from the movie.
Well, I mean, at least Wade got to speak more before he got...
Yeah, in like
Baraka
1 or
pulled.
2.
We'll get to him, guys. Don't worry. But anyway, let me quickly also say what I was saying. There are also, as you can see, grab commands and some environmental spikes on which you can instantly kill an enemy on it, which gives a combat also variety. But also, Wolverine, in time, will gain also a set of special commands that he can use. Right now, he can use, I think, only the Cyclone, I think it's called, where he just spins around.
Whoa, Tio,
Using
we're
the
not
spare
in Kingdom
button.
Hearts anymore now, are we?
Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Whee! You can power it up also through the skill system, which again, the key word of the game is fun. The keywords are fun and reward. The more you have, basically, the more you have fun with the combat, the more you get rewarded. And the
Huh,
more
fun
you
and
can upgrade, the
rewarding.
more fun.
So it's the polar opposite of the movie it's based off of then. Yes, I will
Not
be
just-
making those jokes, folks.
Not just that,
Well,
you
yeah,
remember
it's named after the movie.
Not just that, remember the publisher. This is Activision, the company that milked dry Beanox with the Spider-Man games until they were sucked dry. I still have to start Spider-Man Edge of Time, which I have a copy right now, but I heard that compared to Shattered Dimension is a letdown.
Oh, it is a major step down. Like, first off, let's see. We had 4 Spider-Man in the first one, so what do? Let's reduce it down to 2. Let's see, we had dimension hopping in the first one.
Not just that, they fucked up, I think, also the voice actors.
Yeah, not only...
Because 616 Spidey is voiced by Josh Keaton, which was voiced in Ultimate, and 2099 Spidey is instead voiced by Christopher Daniel Barnes, who voiced Noir Spider-Man.
I
So,
guess
what the
they
fuck?
wanted to make Spider-Man match his main voice actor, seeing as how Josh Keaton had kind of become the main face of Spider-Man
Yeah.
with stuff
And
like
Christopher Daniel,
Ultimate
and
Marvel
Christopher
vs.
Daniel
Capcom 3.
Barnes had, and Christopher Daniel Barnes had experience voicing Spider-Man from the 90s show as well as the previous game.
Still,
also
though,
explain-
it does seem a
oh,
bit
sorry, go on.
weird that they replaced him for,
Let me also explain something quickly.
the future
When you grab
Spider-Man.
when you grab an enemy, you can also, similar to God of War, perform different actions. With the square button, Wolverine will start punching him rapidly. With the triangle, with the circle button, he tosses it. But with the triangle button, he can perform potential finisher if you time the press right. It's not the proper QTE, but it's very similar. Oh.
There's that sound again. I'm sure it was just the wind. Or maybe it's Storm messing with her powers
Fun
somewhere.
fact, I couldn't manage to find it, but in this first level there's actually a reference, an Easter egg to Lost, of all things.
Huh.
And there's also a trophy associated to it, where you can find, also you can find as collectibles Wolverine action figures. If you collect 2 of a set, you can unlock a special challenge that you, Jackman Wolverine, will have to fight a classic Wolverine using one of the costumes, either the classic, the X-Force, or the Ultimate, I think, versions, which are basically one-on-one matches, with harder difficulty, which are nice.
And then let me
Hold
guess,
on.
after you defeat
Hold
them, you
on.
get
Yeah,
to
I
dress
think-
up as them in the main game.
Surprisingly, not that I know actually. I don't know if there are actually alternate costumes. But hold on, I think we have a joke coming up, a particular one at that. Waves, are you back? Guess not. Hold on, take a look. Oop.
Whoop.
Hold on. Let's push the wall down. Hold on. But wait for it.
I bet you thought you were lucky.
No, guys, that's the problem. The entire joke works perfectly, but that one-liner kills it.
Checking in.
I bet you
Wolverine
thought
should
you
have
were
said
lucky.
something. Logan should have said something different, something like, "Oh, good landing" or something like that. He basically does the equivalent of explaining the
No sign of the
joke.
rest of the team.
Like, could have been so much better. But anyway, we found the rest of the chopper, but the rest of the team is already scattered. So Striker is telling Wolby to rendezvous at the village, but in the meantime also destroy some towers.
Wow, this mission sure ran into quite a few snags that the movie glossed over, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, they stretched this is probably the most stretched part of the original movie, and again, I'm not a
Yeah.
big fan of it. Like, I get the thought process behind it, because most of the rest of the environment of the game in the present are
If you want to stretch out stuff, why not
Hold on,
stretch out
please.
the war montage?
actual. Well, I don't want to see Wolf with a gun, honestly. But here's the thing. I get that you want to have an environment because most of them in the game will be urban cities, so a lot of gray, a lot of gray and blue. So the jungle is refreshing. It has the greens, the browns, and stuff like that, and also has the quote unquote the puzzle component. But
The
I don't
problem
know,
is when you do
from-
it too much.
not just that. It passes from trying to add variety to pretty much similar to Dark Void, trying to pander to a specific crowd to attract more people to your game, and it causes a problem with what the story tries to establish with Wolverine's morality, because now you have all these sequences where instead Wolverine is killing a lot of people which by his book are not as evil, or that he could take out easily without killing. But yes, as you can see, the video game cruelty potential allows you to slaughter them like very easily without consequences.
If I recall correctly, the idea in the movie was that if it were soldiers, he was okay with taking them out, but not if they were innocents, which Victor apparently wanted to do.
This will pretty much get contradicted when we actually get to the village. So believe me, Joe, that the game hasn't stopped being a hypocrite.
The writer of this game is a guy named Mark Guggenheim. His works have included, he created a lot of TV shows. He created Eli Stone, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. However, his feature film filmography includes such
Green Lantern.
classics as Green Lantern and Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters.
Like I said, here's the thing, Lives. Like I said, also played Singularity, and this guy also wrote it. But here's the thing, unlike Skip Woods, this guy is an actual comic book writer. So, actually, no, I think he knows what is going on. And remember, Jova, honestly, the writing was the least of the problems in Green Lantern.
True, yeah. I mean, if anything, we did get some interesting character dialogue.
Wow, what were the biggest problems with that movie then, in your opinion?
Direction and the effects. Good God, the effects.
Honestly,
honestly,
again, because of my tolerance to CGI, it wasn't even too big of a deal with the effects.
Honestly, Joe, the bad direction surprised me, because the director of that was Martin Campbell. He directed GoldenEye and Casino Royale.
Yeah, it's
To
like
me, it's more the execution of the plot.
Maybe superhero films just aren't.
The idea that basically is fine. Introduction to the Lantern Corps, enemy in the form of Parallax, and eventually establish that Sinestro will be a bad guy.
And I will
at
give
the
them
base
this, that
is
the
fine.
idea that they had with Parallax was interesting. Like, instead of just being a space bug, Parallax actually started off as one of the Guardians of Oa.
Mhm. It's unfortunately the execution that falls flat.
Yeah.
Anyway, another thing that I didn't mention is that you can activate the equivalent of the Batman Arkham games detective mode. By pressing up on the D-pad, Wolverine will activate his sensors, which will make him identify enemies and potential traps.
You want to talk about trends that really were followed? Yeah, if it wasn't
The
Uncharted,
detective
it
mode,
was the Arkham Asylum stuff. Be it detective mode or the stealth sections.
Or the type of combat. Warner Bros. Pretty much used that as an imprint for most of its games. That Max has it, the Rings games have them, and I'm pretty sure the new Harry Potter game that is rumoring around will also have it.
Wait, there's a new Harry Potter game on the horizon?
There is some leaked footage. We don't know if it's gonna be cancelled or not as a result.
Wait, they would cancel a game just because it was leaked?
Well, not because of that, Joe, but remember, now we also got footage and interviews of that game that Warner Bros. Montreal was supposed to develop after Arkham Knight, but then quietly cancelled off screen.
Ah, yeah. I'll admit, I wouldn't mind the Arkham games getting something of a continuation, if only because I feel like Arkham Knight wasn't the send-off we were all hoping for.
There is potential, it's just what they decided to do. There's the thing, Jova. The games were leading to the Suicide Squad game, but that was cancelled.
Oh, speaking of which, have you seen the Suicide Squad animated movie that's actually a part of the
Suicide
Arkham
Squad.
continuity?
You mean Assault on Arkham? No.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good.
Not to
Hey,
mention,
wait,
I
stop
don't
me if you
think
heard
it is-
stop me if you
No,
heard
no.
this before. A Suicide Squad movie that involves some cameos from Batman, includes the Joker, mind you, Harley
Yeah.
Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang. Yeah, it's kind of the live-action movie done
that's
better.
that's also the other problem, Jova. The Suicide Squad in that movie doesn't match the one that was going to be built in the games because the members that we knew were recruited were Deadshot, Bronze Tiger, and Deathstroke.
Well,
and-
it's funny.
And eventually Deadshot appears in the cartoon.
Let's see. Bronze Tiger shows up in the second Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, okay. Anyway, this is gonna be your boss for the African section, the
There
Leviathan
Is
mutant.
so this is a mutant.
Well, more like a construct of sorts. Imagine it being an organic stone equivalent of a sentinel.
I see. So there just happens to be a giant rock
Cave
thing
like
hanging around in Africa.
Not just that, there are multiple of these.
The mission report for this must have been pretty wacky.
Anyway, after half of the half-bar is depleted, you will summon rocks and will leave only 1 point of these skin exposed, meaning that you can only damage by leaping, but only when he's doing a specific action. In other cases, he will grab you and then toss you away. If you need a reminder, this, among other games that I recorded around this time, is a blind playthrough of mine, so you will see a lot of experimenting.
It's an interesting concept or idea. I do wish that the game could maybe draw a bit more on this, like just either outright say it's a mutant or, well, I guess it's magic.
Oof, poor Logan. When it comes to the regenerating healing factor, it's actually quite fair. It doesn't heal completely automatically right after you get the damage. It takes a bit of its time, but it doesn't like leave you hanging around like saying Adamantium Rage. So
Oh god, Adamantium raids that game.
mind you, also, as you already noticed from the beginning, just to be on the safe side, I started playing on easy mode, so I don't know if that gets changed in other difficulties. I can imagine hard would probably be more.
Oh, here we go! And
Yeah.
he rips his head out!
Remember, these try to pander also to the God of War fan base.
Well, okay, it's Wolverine, so I'll give him a fair pass there.
Yeah, compared to trying to pander to Uncharted, the God of War comparison is much more fair, if you ask me.
So again, one has to wonder, what the heck was the mission report for this game
Striker,
like?
I think, unfortunately, I think Striker is one of the characters who got a voice replacement.
Hey, look
I
at
know
that! Wolverine got his shirt magically back.
Yeah, that I get used to it.
But you see, guys, his regeneration powers have recently spread to his clothing.
Lord
Leap-
knows that would be handy.
Liv Schreiber voices Sabretooth in this game, I'm sure of that. So there is that. There's also will.i.am voicing the teleporting mutant,
Awesome.
what it's called. He actually has a more, neat image of. I have no idea what we're gonna do with him in this game.
This should be interesting. So again,
I guess he becomes a villain.
No. But all in due time.
I can just imagine what the mission report is. Mission report. I've
In
just
compa-
gone up against a giant lava rock deity. God help me if I have to work with any more elemental super freaks.
In comparison, instead, the character of Bolt is completely absent. I don't think he even has a line.
I guess it figures, considering how minimal his
They
role
do
in that
mention
movie
him,
was.
but he just doesn't speak nor he shows up. And the one of Blob gets one boss fight, and that's it.
Is he still played by Kevin Durant?
No,
I guess they blew the budget on Hugh Jackman and
Yeah.
Schreiber and all that.
yeah. And with AM, don't forget, musicians, yeah, of course, exposure. Musicians tend to be very expensive.
Yeah.
Well, then again, I'd have thought it'd been the other way around since you're not having them sing, you're having them act. I think that would normally bring the asking price down.
You'd be surprised, Dribs. Sometimes their singing makes them a hot ticket item. Ken's Beyonce and Lion King.
Not just that, for a Japanese example, Jova, for a Japanese example, Gact, absolutely.
Although, to be fair, Beyonce does sing in Lion King.
I mean, well, it's funny you mention that, Jova, because I mean, how much do you think Rihanna cost considering her performance in Battleship?
Oh, wait. What was the other movie you were saying she was in?
Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
Never heard of that movie. What?
It's based on a French comic.
I saw it. It was boring.
Oh boy.
It's a product based from a French comic. Of course, it's not gonna entertain audience outside of the French one, and probably the Italian one.
And someone's gonna say, "Oh, what about Tintin?" That's Belgian.
Wait, Tintin? She was in Tintin?
No.
In terms of TOS
Also-
saying French comics don't really adapt well.
Look at how much this game is trying.
I mean,
Anyway.
it almost seems like they knew. Like, they
Tourist
knew how
section.
bad that movie was gonna be, and they thought, okay, guys, we gotta make one of the best looking
It's so
games
paradoxical
ever.
because in comparison, a lot of the MCU Phase 1 video games are awful. Even when the movie, like say, even when the movies are not as awful as X-Men Origins. Yes, Iron Man 2 has a lot of problems, but it's not, X-Men Origins, tier.
Oh god, no.
But the game that is based on the movie is boring at best.
So there you are. The
How surreal is it? You have a
That's what I
good
mentioned.
game, a good tie-in game, mind you, that's based off of one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Ain't that
Mind you,
something?
it still has some rough on the edges, like what things I mentioned also. For example, these controls for the machine guns are a bit bad on the side. It could have been polished a bit better, but again, rush game. I can understand
how would you say it ranks on the typical? Yeah, that's my own rating system I've got when it comes to these kinds of controls. The best being typical turret controls, the lowest being Ride to Hell Retribution. Where would you rank it?
Halfway through.
You played Ride to Hell Retribution, dudes? Oh, my condolences.
No, but I have seen it in action.
The good news is that I think we reached the location where Sabretooth is.
Come on, let's do this.
There he is. And here's the cool thing. The game will transition at specific points where the flashback is, depending on the characters where they are. For example, right now we have... Hold on, Waves. Right now we have Wolverine and Sabretooth in the scene. We will start talking, and then the scene will transition to their bar fight that they have in the movie in the present.
I didn't need the help.
He looks like an altered character model from Rogue Warrior.
Killing part?
You don't say.
Brother, I won't always be there to help you. Don't worry, though. You're the same as me.
Speaking of which, Dribs,
And
did you know...
transition.
Hey, Dribs, did you know that the same people who worked on Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness ended up going to Rebellion Studio?
Yeah. I know that.
I don't remember. I think Silver
The
Fox
thing
is
is,
one
Joe,
of them.
Cool Design were doing the Tomb Raider games from the start up until Angel of
Anyway,
Darkness.
guys, this is the point where Silver Fox is explaining the stupid Quequazzo.
What the hell did they do to her face?
Let me check also voices there.
Well, here's the thing, Dribs. Rule number 1 of game adaptations. The people who are played by the lesser-known actors aren't going to have as good their faces rendered as the more recognizable actors in a tie-in.
Silver Fox is voiced by April Stewart in this game.
Yeah, so it's not what's the name from the movie?
Anyway, we are about to have our first boss fight in the form of a bar fight that Logan and Sabretooth have in Canada.
But if you'll
But I thought this wasn't until after the Africa stuff.
And also,
wonder-
if you'll
in case you're
recall, in the
wondering,
original, this actually happened after Sabretooth supposedly killed Silver Fox.
In case you're wondering, if you're a fan of South Park, April Stewart's voice should be familiar to you because she voices a lot of female characters. There.
Huh. Cute.
Anyway, the fight
I'll
is
be right back for a second.
the fight is relatively straightforward, and the bar fight allows you to juggle with a lot of things like impaling, tossing Sabretooth and impaling him on, potentially forms and stuff like that. But since he has regenerated eating factor just like Logan, just depleting Wild Bar is not enough.
Figures.
Moveset wise, he's pretty much a Stroto clone of Logan, which makes sense.
Yeah, not gonna lie, this game does look very fun to control.
Yeah, I would say this also, it's one of those games very much more fun to play than to properly commentate on. Especially because there will be a lot of sections where not a lot is happening, but the game needs structure because of how
cheater.
it's made.
Okay,
of how
let's
it's
take it
made,
outside to the wonderfully destructible environment galore.
Not just that, also spikes, as you will about to do in a second. Ooh. Ow.
That's gonna be the mark. A mark that's gonna heal up.
There you go.
mind you,
If
but-
you get manage to impale Sabretooth on one of those spikes, not only you give him a lot of damage, but you also get a trophy for it.
Huh. Nice. I do like games that use their environment well.
Not just that, also on that front, I kinda like the trophy list of this game. It's actually relatively creative.
Yeah, good trophy names are a nice... They're like that nice little... I wouldn't say that cherry, but they're like that nice sprinkling on the top of a cake. They're not really edible, but gosh dang, they do help, every little bit that they can.
Okay. Oh yeah, how's this fight gonna work? Because Sabretooth has the same healing
Multiple
factors.
phases until he just gives up.
I guess he can also throw you onto one of those, like,
Yes.
to impale you.
Yes. In that case, you will have to perform a QT to get free. Let me check who voices Striker since he's about to show up.
So, technically, we...
Oh, here we go. Here's a thing that this part is definitely changed from the movie. Not just that, instead of, remember when Sabretooth uses the logs to fight Logan? Telephone pole.
You have a call reception, Logan. It's for your defeat!
Un telephone master.
This is when do any of us do cheesy one-liners. This isn't the MCU.
No, this is the video game adaptation. We're more Marvel-like here.
Oh, he lost his claws.
Remember that can regrow.
Right, oh,
Dang.
so the bone can regrow, just not the adamantium.
Apparently, the adamantium can regrow, though, as Days of Future Past showed.
And there you go.
Oh,
Since
again,
Wolverine,
Joe, that was that
hold
long
on.
line skip. So
And here's the thing: Wolverine had passed out, and apparently Silver Fox died in between that.
Okay, even here I have a harder time. Okay, I have an even harder time here buying the death. Like, it was bad enough how she had
And now
fake-looking
Stryker shows
blood
up.
on in the movie, but yeah, Stryker just happens to show up just in time for Wolverine to wake up.
Striker is voiced by David Florek in this game.
Doesn't really ring a bell for me.
He was in Ghostbusters 2
Oh, wait, was
as an
he...
extra.
Oh,
yeah, he was in Ghostbusters too.
His major role seems to be in a show called Grace Under Fire.
You already
Race under
tried.
fire.
You can't beat him, Logan.
But yeah, it's
No,
pretty
you
much
can't.
from here. It's pretty much what
There
you know.
is another option. I can give you the tools to defeat him.
Hmm.
You know, wouldn't it have been an awkward time if that poison that Silver Fox took wore off at that point and she accidentally woke up as he was giving him the speech?
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see more what happens in the next part. See ya.
See
See
ya.
you then.